Hello folks, Dick Fairburn here. I've been at this YouTube adventure about 6 months now, and I think I have learned a little bit about the audience that's out there, and especially some of the people that comment. I've thrown out a lot of different topics on this channel trying to see what the viewers really like, and I love your input. I love the comments, and I have to say many of those comments are very heartwarming. They're really very kind words about my material. But of course, there are some that are not, and I don't really let those bother me, but I think they're worthy of being addressed. And I'm going to do this in a little bit different way. I normally just speak extemporaneously. I might have a cheat card with a few dot points that I speak from. I'm going to read a written script in the next two videos, because I started out my communications career as a writer. I think I'm a better wordsmith than I am a speaker. And I want to be accurate because I'm probably going to say some things people won't like. And that's okay. It generates discussion, and I think that's probably one of the most powerful things about YouTube is the ability to interact directly with the content providers. And content providers should take that comment and let it steer where their channels go. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to read to you, and when I'm doing that, I'm just going to show some images and some quotes that I use. I have a PowerPoint program of kind of neat photos and neat quotes that I run before I start a police training event somewhere. And I'll just flash some of those up so that you don't have to sit here and watch my ugly mug read, because that's not a very exciting way to do things. I'm talking here to about 85% of my viewers that I think will probably agree with me. And that's based on the demographics that I get from YouTube. Because about 85% of my viewers are 45 or older. 94% are 35 or older. And I really think some of the odd comments that gun folks get from the folks that really think they know everything, they tend to be below that 35 years of age cutoff. But they're listening, and they will comment, and they're more than welcome to. The other demographics, 94% of my viewers are male. Okay, it's kind of a male topic, but it's neat to get some feedback from the ladies out there who appreciate what I'm doing as well. And 92% of my viewers are not subscribers. So I'm going to ask you, please subscribe. Please help me grow my channel. Give me a thumbs up if you like what I'm talking about here. And, you know, being a subscriber costs nothing. There are folks out there doing the Patreon system of getting more income coming in. YouTube now has a membership program that you can join. And I may look into those later down the road. But I'm trying to keep it less commercial to begin with. So that's what I want to talk about. I'm going to do two videos. One, I'm going to ask you a question. Am I a FUD? And I will explain to you what FUD is in YouTube speak. And then the second one is going to be the reverse of that. Not whether or not I am a FUD, but whether you as a viewer might be a gun shop commando. I'll tell you where that phrase comes from and really what it means. So if you're interested, stick around. Okay, am I a FUD? A few folks writing comments to my videos have called me a FUD. Well, what is a FUD? I was pretty sure I knew, but I looked it up in one of the modern dictionaries to make sure I knew what I was talking about. And their definition fits pretty well with Webster's definition. Webster says that a FUD is an old-fashioned, unimaginative, or pompous person. I hope I'm not any of those things. I don't think I am. The way it's currently used by folks on the internet is to describe someone who is, I would say, an out-of-date or too old-fashioned to understand modern technology. Now, Fudd, of course, refers to the Warner Brothers cartoon character Elmer Fudd, who is eternally chasing Bugs Bunny, the wascally wabbit. And Elmer is outdone by Bugs every time. He's kind of the ultimate loser. The earliest Fudd reference I have seen is from the 1949 war movie 12 O'Clock High. Just happened to watch that the other night. Gregory Peck plays a U.S. Army Air Force brigadier general in World War II, and he said that the younger pilots considered him a Fudd. Now, the cartoon itself predates World War II, so that's probably what he was referring to. So it isn't some kind of new invention of the internet generation, but since they disregard everything which came before their time, they'll probably claim that they've invented the Fudd put-down. Most of the YouTube comments referring to me as a Fudd were associated with my 9mm versus .45 video I posted, and that revolves around the FBI's move from the .40 Smith & Wesson to a 9mm service pistol. Those expert commentators explained to me how the 9mm was clearly better than the antiquated .45. After all, everybody knows that a .45 will only dent the body metal of a car, and it will fail to penetrate a car windshield. Magazine capacity, deeper penetration, and softer recoil, they explained to me, are the only important aspects for a self-defense pistol, and the 9mm has those in spades. One guy said he had personally shot many vehicles with a .45, and it failed to penetrate auto doors and windshields every time. I offered several of these commentators a free copy of my Building a Better Gunfighter book if they would send me solid evidence of the .45's dismal performance. As you might imagine, I'm still waiting. By the way, the Gunfighter books, Building a Better Gunfighter, my second book, are about gone. I've got about 20 copies left. That's all the hard copies I know of in captivity. They both Building a Better Gunfighter and my earlier book, Police Rifles, should be out on my website in ebook form within a couple of weeks. So if you're interested, you can get them there for a lot lower price. One content provider recently posted a piece about my video discussing the FBI's change in firearms from the .40 to the 9. He said the purpose of his posting was to, quote, prove some things Dick Fairburn said were obviously either false or misleading. End quote. So I watched his video, which mostly quoted other YouTube sources. He heavily quoted one posting which has been totally discredited by knowledgeable folks in the terminal ballistics community as most likely being a total work of fiction. When I commented on my critic's video that the study he was primarily using had been debunked, the content provider merely deleted my comment. He was probably afraid his 100 or so viewers might realize he merely regurgitates what he sees on YouTube rather than basing his videos on first-hand experience. You know, actually leave their keyboard and take part in a real-world activity. Get your hands dirty. Him deleting that simply marks him as a gun shop commando in my book. Now, much of what we discuss about firearms topics is opinion, not hard fact. The opinion of someone with years of real-world experience has weight. The opinion of liberals and the inexperienced carry little weight to me. I've been doing serious, hands-on firearms testing and research and publishing articles and 2 books about it since the early 80s. I followed up on Jeff Cooper's 1973 Guns and Ammo article describing the Super Cooper 9mm Magnum. He was hot rodding a .38 Super pistol using cut-down .223 rifle brass to replace the dismally weak .38 Super casing. Pistolsmith Dick Heine, who built my .38 Super test pistol, credits my .38 Super article in Handloader magazine for helping to ignite the move to the .38 Super in IPSC and USPSA competition. My early articles promoting the use of the 5.56 AR-style carbines by police agencies to replace the traditional riot shotgun, and I began these in 1984, they helped start the patrol rifle movement. Thunder Ranch guru Clint Smith, speaking at a SWAT conference in Aspen, Colorado, where we both presented, credited me with coining the phrase patrol rifle and helping to launch that shift in police weaponry. I created several new training programs during my time on the street as a cop and at the Illinois State Police Academy, which are still in widespread use today. And more important than that, I can give you the names of several experts from my generation who I highly respect, and people who are, in my opinion, more worthy of notoriety than I. The above-mentioned info is not meant to laud my credentials, but instead to point out a character flaw in the latest generations of people in the United States. I was taught to respect my elders, to learn from their experiences and use their knowledge to further expand my own, to stand on the shoulders of those giants to better see the problems which lay further down the road of evolution. My heroes were great leaders like President Theodore Roosevelt, Prime Minister Winston Churchill, General George Patton. In the gun world, I revered the gun-riding experts who learned their skills in the real world, on the Mexican border with the U.S. Border Patrol of old, or on the battlefields of World War II in Korea, or in the inner-city jungles of New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles, or in the hunting fields of the Rocky Mountains in Africa. These are men like Bill Jordan, Skeeter Skelton, Jim Chirillo, Elmer Keith, Jeff Cooper, Peter Capstick, and many others. Heroes who would undoubtedly also be labeled as Fudds by today's online experts, who are so ready to criticize, but apparently unable to get off their ass and get experience in the field. They seem totally unwilling to gather the first-hand experience needed to make their opinions worthy of consideration. So that's the question. Am I a Fudd? I don't think so. I've served my entire adult life in law enforcement, the fire service, and the United States Army. I've been cold and dirty. I've been hurt in street fights. I had a roof collapse on me as a firefighter. I've been bucked off of police horses, and I've been 1 pound of trigger pull away from shooting someone on 3 different occasions. I think the reason I didn't fire in those incidents, though I would have been perfectly justified, was because of a high degree of skill and confidence gained through many hours of excellent training and experience. I have defined the cutting edge in a couple fields of gun-related expertise. Instead of being the out-of-date and too old-fashioned to understand modern technology Fudd, of which I have been accused. Perhaps the newest generation of online experts should follow the advice of Abraham Lincoln, someone they would undoubtedly label a Fudd. He said, quote, "Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak and remove all doubt." Thank you for listening. I hope you like the next one too. Online